Come on in, come on in. It's so good to see you. Welcome to the new home of Grace and Space. There is chaos on either side of you, but it's fine. We're still new here. We're still moving in, we're still unpacking, so it's totally fine. I've shared our lovely little home in snippets on here and on Instagram and anywhere you've probably seen me post, but I wanted to do a proper, closing the chapter, sort of everything we've done to the house. To catch you up on the last 5 years, Colby bought a house in 2020. I moved in around 2022. We got engaged, married, and the whole time we were renovating the house to eventually sell it and move on to our dream house, which is where we're at now. And this is everything we did to make that happen. We started with the ceilings and applied a knockdown texture, which is essentially done by spraying a mud mixture on the ceilings, and then before it dries, knock down any of the excess. It looks way nicer than popcorn, and I also prefer it over just a flat ceiling. It adds a surprising amount of dimension. You wouldn't think that it really matters. I don't have a lot of video from this process because it is so messy. As much as I enjoy how it looks, did not enjoy working on it. The entryway had a few evolutions to get to where we were when we sold it. You can see we started with this nice subtle floral wallpaper and this beige brown tile on the landing. We painted the walls this light blue from Behr. It's called Ice Sculpture. We ended up doing the entire house in this color. We chose this black and white hexagon tile from Floor & Decor to go in the landing, and it was so beautiful, but it was so breakable. It was a high traffic area. Winnie dropped her toys. It was our first tiling project. I don't think we actually did a solid job, and so it was just more fragile than any of the other tile we did. So we ended up replacing it with hardwood earlier this year. The living room, dining room, sort of communal area only had a few changes to it. After painting walls, we swapped out the light fixtures a few times. We added some floor-length curtains to the living room, which I think really helped. And we ended up turning the dining room into more of a pass-through / work area for me. We only ever ate in the kitchen, and we didn't need a formal dining room. And we finally knocked down the spindles that I really did not like. The bedroom and office also had some very minor changes because other than painting the walls, we really only updated the closets. We swapped out those, in my opinion, inconvenient sliding doors the closets have. I don't like mini closet doors. I find a lot of them clunky and inconvenient, but the sliding doors really bug me because there's just a central part of the closet you cannot get to where the doors overpass each other. That's for another day. But we swapped out the doors for arched doorways and we put curtains up, and it made the house that was otherwise a very functional house. By adding the arches and the curtains, I think it really helped give it some character, some coziness, some life. And there's a restaurant in town that we used to go to all of the time, and they had big arches. It was sort of like an architectural feature of the restaurant, and they put curtains into it, and we'd go there all the time and just be like, we have to do that to our house. So we did. The bathrooms, we started with this fuzzy beige wallpaper. I don't know how. So we demoed that. We brought in the black and white tile that we loved from the landing. We tiled it much better so it did not break. And we tried our hand at actually tiling the walls, which was fun. It was its own challenge, but I really enjoy tiling and I really enjoy actually using the tile saw. Even though it was pretty confusing, we adapted a tile by numbers sort of technique to it. We just had to trace, and we had numbers that related to the other pieces of tile, and it worked eventually. We definitely confused ourselves, but it worked eventually. The guest bathroom also did make me cry a few times, but that was user error. We over-grouted and had to scrub extra grout off the tiles, and it's fine. It's really not that hard, but when you're exhausted from doing so much tile work, scrubbing grout is the last thing that you want to do. So it doesn't matter. All of the tears and probably blood and sweat. We definitely had sweat and tears. I don't remember if we had any blood go into this, but it made it worth it because it looks so cute. I feel like it looks like a hotel bathroom. It's just so beautiful, and compared to the previous, the beige bathroom, it makes me so happy. I'm really glad we did this to the bathroom. And by the end of it, the only original things in there were the tub and the toilet. And same with our ensuite, our attached bathroom. We did not replace the shower or the toilet in there. We had to tackle that one because we had a plumbing failure on Thanksgiving. The bathroom is about half the size of the guest bathroom, so it was both easier and harder to accomplish. It was kind of a one-person job, so even though we were able to take turns working on stuff in the guest bathroom, Colby was really the main one who did our ensuite bathroom. So thank you to Colby for tackling basically an entire bathroom by himself. It was easy since we already had the guest bathroom to follow by template, but it's like working on a bathroom by yourself is not easy. So thank you, Colby. We started with this Olive Garden-esque wallpaper up top on the soffits. We did the pantry, which you can tell was one of my favorite things. And then we put a new tile backsplash in. We went with like a blue subway tile. And the cabinets were pretty dingy. They've been finished with a new veneer every single year. So it was hard to imagine doing much to this kitchen other than painting it white. There's a million things you can do to make a room feel brighter, but we went the route of let's paint it all white. And for probably about a year, maybe longer than that, we had this pop of red along the soffit because I just love how red and light blue look together. I will probably try to do it somewhere in this house because I think it's so pretty. Oh, and the doorways in the kitchen were the first ones we arched to practice for the closets that we arched. So those were pretty easy because they didn't have actual doors on them. They didn't have any hardware other than the trim around them, and they were very fun to learn on. And I never thought we were going to replace the flooring in the kitchen, but we ended up doing that at the same time that we did the entryway flooring. And I like it. I thought the old flooring was fine, but having an updated texture and color in there, it made the room look really nice. The basement stayed mostly untouched because I loved that paneling. I loved that paneling so much. The whole basement very much had like the nostalgic, this is a grandma's house vibe, but I liked that. It felt very cozy. The only update I really made was that I painted the fireplace blue, but I really liked that. I felt like it was a good pop against the paneling. So even though we never painted the paneling, I did paint the fireplace. We have the exterior of the house. We did quite a bit over the years. Some of it was to make it look nicer for selling, and some of it was just to have fun with the garden, with the yard that we had. We got very into gardening, which I don't think I was expecting. We started with an idea to add rock beds and terracing for better drainage, and that turned into creating our entire little garden in the backyard. It took us a full year to finish the front yard terracing because we got so excited about the garden and kind of abandoned the front yard. Because for the garden, we underestimated how well everything was going to do, and then we had an insane amount of tomatoes, an insane amount of carrots and potatoes and onions and herbs. I mean, I was not expecting it to go so well, and it really, really did. So that took up an entire summer where we thought we were going to get a lot of rock beds and landscaping done, and we definitely did not. We got the terracing done the following year and planted some bushes in there. We had some butterfly bushes and some forsythia, if I'm saying that right. And I think we put jasmine bushes in there. And every year they've grown bigger and flowered more, and they just look beautiful. They look amazing. And then as we were getting ready to sell the house, instead of planting vegetables, we put wildflowers in. And they were very beautiful, but they just made me miss the tomato plants. I'm very excited to put tomato plants in this house. And that's kind of it. We moved out of that house almost 2 weeks ago. Time doesn't feel real. I can't believe that we were only there for 5 years, but also it feels longer than 5 years with everything that we did. Thank you so much for following along with that house, and I'm excited to introduce you to this house and all of the various things we're gonna get into here, because it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be crazy, probably not too crazy, we'll see. We'll see how crazy we get here, but I can't wait. So, I should probably unpack my office. You're probably going to see a lot more of me now that we have gotten over this hump of moving and I was able to unpack my stuff enough to record this and edit. So I'll see you next time.